Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and I brought a reverse psychologist named Chillmonger.
Hi. Let me
Don't-
bring the hypnotism out too. Don't not subscribe to my YouTube channel.
I love the double negative in there. Don't not subscribe to. I fully support that. Don't not subscribe to Chillmonger's YouTube channel.
Don't.
Bang. Also, don't forget to avoid. Don't forget to not avoid subscribing to him on Twitter too, like following him because yeah, and good luck Easter egg finding him on Facebook because he ain't there. So anyway, what's going on, dude?
You want to hear another one that's funny?
Uh-oh.
You are now breathing manually.
But what about when you sleep?
Yeah, but that's
Like
not now.
automatic.
But right now that you're thinking of it, you're no longer unconsciously
true.
just breathing. It's crazy.
I immediately started doing it, right?
Mm.
It's like with blinking. I screwed everything up.
Mhm.
All right, dude. So I have a statement to make.
Mhm.
Ooh, what a rush. Yeah, we lost Road Warrior Animal. Man, dude, the Road Warriors are dead. They're both dead now, and that's a damn shame. And again, I don't like the idea of anything being a profit off of people's deaths. I did want to, however, mention because that is a big loss, especially to us older school wrestling community. I remember being a kid and watching the Road Warriors come out and what is it, WCW, World Class Championship Wrestling. Holy crap, dude! These guys they were unstoppable. They were amazing. They had some of the best stuff. I know there's some people who watched like maybe an episode or two that had them in it, and they're like, well, they don't sell. No, they sold. They sold big time. They were just amazing at everything they did. And they were two, Road Warrior, Hawk, and Animal. We were just talking about them last week, right? They were bouncers in a Minnesota bar, like the roughest, toughest Minnesota bar imaginable. Hell's Angels were there all the time and rival biker gangs. I think the Warlocks might have been there too, the Mongols, the freaking the pagans. Anyway, and what happened? Sting and the Dingo Warrior were there also. I said the Dingo Warrior.
We were talking about that before we hit record.
Oh, that was okay.
Yeah.
Never mind. Well, we were talking about last week, so I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Chillmonger's just a little bit more correct than I am. Oh man. So yeah, that sucks. That sucks, and that sucks. Anything?
Sucks.
Nice. All right. What else we got? What do we got in the news?
The Black Widow. What you got for me?
Dude, well, what I don't have for you is a Disney Plus date because they decided not to do it. The sons of bitches. Can you believe that?
I can believe it. This is a money decision.
Yeah. I wonder if China didn't have something to do with it because, again, with like Mulan was definitely going to be the test subject. And while it did make more money than Tenet, which by all rights, Mulan should not have made more money than Tenet. Like that's impossible. You know what I'm saying? How is that even a possibility? Yet somehow, but they were really depending on the Chinese audience to put it over the top. But with the whole, like the Uyghur Muslim detention camps and everything, like, basically hate crimes. And I don't care if the Chinese government has a problem with me saying that, stop doing it and I won't have to say it anymore. In the meantime, the Chinese government deciding we're not going to push this movie, we're going to let it play, but if nobody watches it, oh well, we're not going to advertise it, which is really messed up. And of course, I don't know if you know this or not. There's probably a lot of people that don't know this or not, but I know, I used to work as of like last month, used to work in the English teaching English as a foreign language community. And I know a lot of people who actually physically work in China, because I used to teach kids online in China, and they actually have this thing where they track your social status. So it sounds a lot like what do you call Blade Runner and other books like that. The idea that if you if you play video games and the more video games you play, oh, bad, bad, bad. But if you work 2 jobs, oh, that's good, that's good. It boosts up your status. You know what I'm saying? Doing this as opposed to that, doing that as opposed to this, it'll change your social status, and that actually puts you in better standing with the government, allowing for more opportunities for you, which therefore allows for you. So basically, if you follow the rules that the government puts in place, you get rewarded for it, and you don't get rewarded. You actually get stymied if you don't follow those rules or those tenets set forth, which is really freaking weird. So the idea that they would say, "Oh, we're not pushing this movie," there's going to be a lot of people in China who are like, "Well, if I buy this movie, then it could possibly reflect negatively on me." So that might be a factor in it also. Although they don't have any direct quotes on that, I'm figuring, presuming that's a possibility.
I have a direct quote from Scott Mendelson. He writes for Forbes that the
Mhm,
numbers that Yahoo Finance put out a week ago or so,
mhm.
they were interpreted incorrectly. It's more like $90 million that Mulan made.
Oh, as opposed to
The plus 200 number.
really? Huh. I'll have to check that out. All right. Yeah, I wish you would sent
Whatever
me
it
that link so I
means,
can look
though,
at it.
whatever the actual number is, what it means is Black Widow saw what happens with Mulan and they said, we're better off making the money in theaters. We'll just wait it out until May next year, and we're not getting our movie.
Well, I don't even think, was there even a release date put out for it?
There was
They just
always a
said
release date for Black Widow. The first one was
there's
May
several
5th.
release dates.
The second was November 5th.
What I'm saying is, since they said no, it's not coming out on, we're definitely not putting it on Disney Plus. They haven't given another release date for it.
It's some date in May.
Mm,
The first Thursday of May. Friday, I mean.
yeah, that's always their favorite day to put out. They feel like it makes more money. It's like their lucky socks in basketball, you know.
Hmm.
But the National Association of Theater Owners are extremely excited about that. They're the ones who were actually mostly commenting on it. Disney Plus didn't really have, or the executives there didn't have too much to say about it. It's a shame because that is a movie that I definitely would have bought. You know, I had to think about it for about a week, but yeah, I definitely would have bought that. And I think, excuse me, a lot of other people would too.
Most people
But
listening to this would.
oh yeah, I'm pretty sure. It's just one of those situations where it's like they had to look at what Mulan was going to do, and yeah, whatever I don't know. Seeing, I don't know who this guy is who said that the like who's David Mendelson?
Scott Mendelson writes for Forbes. He's an industry insider.
Oh yeah, well, so are the guys at Yahoo Finance, and it's weird that like there's a team of people doing stuff, and
So
one guy says that it's misinterpreted.
the place where the numbers came from that Yahoo Finance misinterpreted, though that
Mhm.
guy had like a chain of tweets on Twitter. I read it on the Forbes article,
Hmm.
and he said that no, this is not what blank percentage means, and this is how much this means, and it was read wrong. That's all. You can see the
That's
article after this.
Yeah, I do want to look at the article after that. For now, though, I am going to mention it's weird for one person to disrupt an entire team. And the idea that Yahoo Business, which literally is one of the industry leaders in following stocks, would make a misinterpretation like that. That just seems that's like throws up red flags for me big time. But whatever. Yeah, this is one of the things with like springing things. I wish it would have let me read that before we went into this so I can see what this guy was saying.
I didn't know we were getting into Mulan. I thought it was just a Black Widow talk.
Whatever. I don't think that you like set me up or anything. I'm just saying. It's like my wife came to me and said, "Oh, I just watched. We both just watched. It's on Netflix now. Devil All the Time. It's got Robert Pattinson and not Toby Maguire, Tom Holland in it. So Spider-Man and Batman were basically in it. He's not
Yeah,
Batman yet, but anyway. So there's this movie where without a narrator, like the narrator made the freaking movie, and Tom Holland did a great job. He was unbelievable in this movie. Aside from that, and I didn't tell you that I was going to talk about this, but it relates. Robert Pattinson was in the movie for a very short period of time, and I hated his voice in it. My wife said flat out, she's like, his acting felt like acting. Like Tom Holland, it just felt so natural. It was amazing. But with Pattinson, it felt like he was acting. And like that's not even something that I necessarily picked on. That's just her. With me, I was, because she doesn't know the Southern voices. I was like, no, there are people who kind of talk like that, but this is somebody who, that to me, his voice acting was somebody who watched somebody or watched YouTube videos of people imitating that voice and then thought he had the voice down. Because I've actually been in the south of the United States and finding somebody talking like that, like possibly Mississippi, along the Delta, you can find somebody who talks like that. One of the fast talking swindler types, or excuse me, let me do it in my horrible interpretation. Fast talking swindler types want to talk like that, yeah. There's a possibility you come up with your Bible preaching, and you might just find somebody like that. But no, like this was somebody who's in my opinion never met someone like that. It's even been reported that he refused a voice acting coach and he refused to even show, which tells me right away this guy is shit to work with. I would fire the guy immediately. He refused to accept one of the voice coach acting or actors who would coach him, and then he refused to even show them or let them hear what his voice was going to sound like until the day that he was set to act. So he goes out in front of the screen. They say, roll camera, and action, click, and then he just starts with the voice, and it's like, wow, that I would have fired the guy. I would have said, "You're not what we're looking for. Here's half your salary. Get the hell off my lot. Here comes security right now." Like that. No, I would never allow somebody to surprise me like that. This is a business. This is a potentially billion-dollar business. And this is what, your pride? This is idiocracy right here. This is stupidity. What kind of an absolute moron would do? What kind of pretentious bastard would do something like that? That infuriates me. So I was just like, no, I didn't like the voice. I've heard lots of people complaining about the voice afterwards, because that's when I went and I started like actually, checking things out. Like, what did everybody else think about this movie? Oh my God, that's, I was curious. And a lot of people had a problem with the voice, people from down south and everything. My wife goes and tells me, here's where it relates to what you were saying. My wife says, there's actually this one guy who's an expert on accents. He's a linguist. And he says that his voice was actually very accurate. I'm like, okay, who else? She's like, what do you mean? This guy's got credentials. Like, I want you to stop and think about what you're saying, though. Here are all these people from the area saying no, but an academic who's got credentials, one person says yes. She's like, I know better, don't I? I was like, right? Like that's not the way that things work. If one person says no and everybody else says yes, you're smarter going with the yes. You're not going to be right all the time, but you'll be right a lot more of the times than not. So yeah, the Yahoo Finance guy, I'm going to go with the Yahoo Finance guys for now until I read the article, because that just throws red flags to me. That one of the leaders in the industry somehow misinterpreted finance data.
The Pattinson stuff sounds like the Grace Randolph rumor that's not more than a rumor now, because I heard a couple other people talk about it, but apparently Pedro Pascal, the actor for Mandalorian, is not wanting to do these scenes where he's got his helmet over his face. He wants more FaceTime on the show and more money, of course. And, and apparently he went off the set. And there was a big fight in one of the episodes that he had with the directors. Apparently he went over to the president of Lucasfilm to try to get more scenes with his face. It's just a rumor, can't confirm, can't deny, but it sounds like that, like the Robert Pattinson thing, where Pattinson.
No, that works. That works because he's going to be Batman. Are you finished?
The thing where he doesn't share his voice until the final time. It's being uncooperative.
Yeah.
But from one Disney Plus Mandalorian.
Oh, no,
another,
just comment on that, because that is something that you did want to talk about last week, and I did kind of shoot it down. I mean,
I shot it down too, because I still don't believe it.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's what I was going to say next. Is like, I didn't just shut down Chillmonger. I was just like, I don't think it's worth talking about. I hate talking about rumors, and especially with a known rumor monger like Grace Randolph. She can cry all she wants. what do you call? Plus, we're so tiny, she's not even going to recognize us. We're a speck. We're a speck on a flea.
Tiny.
But
Speak for yourself.
uh-oh. So yeah, she's known for being a liar. Like she makes up nonsense. I don't know why people follow. I think people think she's pretty or something like that. I've had better. So I'm just and I'm 100% speaking for myself. But she's known for making rumors. Most of those rumors are nonsense. And even when you just look at it on the face of it, it's like we've already known from the behind the scenes stuff that they gave away on season 1 that Pedro Pascal was almost never in the armor. There are stunt men who wear the armor and do all of those things, not Pedro. You know what I'm saying? He's mostly just the voice actor, except for that scene where he will take off the helmet and, hey, look, here's my beaten up face. So even just the way, the wording, the verbiage used in her describing that screams that it is full of doggy doo doo. And which makes perfect sense because that's all that Grace Randolph does for the most part. She's probably still to this day bitter as hell that Marvel fired her sorry ass, refuses to comment on it, except that she obviously hates Marvel. She's a Snyder Cut aficionado because it's anti-Marvel, and she's a horrible, terrible, lying, dog-faced dog pony, however the hell Joe Biden said that nonsense that one time. Anyway,
That's probably how it went. He just
yeah,
began and then
you
halfway in
know the
between.
thing.
Uh-huh.
That was good. So
But it
yeah,
sounds ridiculous just that Pedro Pascal would act that way. But it also sounds ridiculous that Robert Pattinson would act that way. You don't know with these Hollywood weirdos.
this came from inside.
Mm.
That came from the inside. I see where you're going with that now.
The attitude of the two.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see him asking for more money. I could see him saying, I'd like to show my face more. But again, like the verbiage of it, I want to be able to take the helmet off. I don't want to be in the armor all the time. It's like, dude, he's never in the armor. Like he's a voice actor more than anything else. So, yeah.
Sam Jackson is a Marvel actor. He's a Star Wars actor. He's a lot of things. Is he
hmm
coming back for Disney Plus? And what will the name of this show be?
I don't know, but he's a bad mother.
Variety reports
This is
that
where you're
Sam
supposed to
Jackson
say, shut your mouth. Damn it.
is set to reprise the role of Nick Fury in a new Marvel series currently in development for Disney Plus. Variety has learned exclusively from sources. The exact plot details of the show are being kept under wraps, but multiple sources say Jackson is attached to star with Kyle Bradstreet to write and executive produce. You heard of Kyle Bradstreet?
I can't remember the name. I can't place it.
I don't know anything that he's done.
Huh. Oh, well,
I mean,
that's a
it's
shame.
Feige at the top anyways. He's going to approve of everything, so I'm pretty
Agreed.
sure it'll be good.
Now, when
I never
is
heard
it?
of Nia DaCosta either, and she's doing the Captain Marvel 2 movie.
Yeah. In 2021, that's when the What If animated show, we believe that's supposed to be animated, is coming out, where where Samuel as Nick Fury is going to be lending his voice. And it was said that that is not the thing that they're talking about. They're saying that it was something else. So, rumor mill, most of us think that it's going to be Agents of Sword.
That makes a
So,
lot of sense.
it does, yeah, because there's been so many rumors about that for about a year now that they were going to be doing Agents of Sword. We talked about it on here where the Agents of Shield was planning for that 5th season to be in space anyway, and the if you saw the end credit scene, the final scene at the end of season 4, they showed what's his face, Coulson getting up, waking up and looking out. Basically, that scene that Samuel L. Jackson had, where he looks out into space and he's just, oh, cool, and he goes walking away, which is very different from anything that actually happened in season 5. Very
Mhm.
different from anything happened. So we all looked at it as they're planning on using sword. They confirmed Jeff Loeb and his subordinates confirmed they were going to do sword, but Feige and the MCU said that they were going to do something with Agents of Sword, so they were not allowed to use Agents of Sword. So maybe this is that thing finally happening. Could Abigail Brand be showing up to take over for Nick Fury? Because that would be sick. And Nick Fury at some point is going to have to go. I mean, the guy's old now.
So get it out while you can.
right?
Abigail Brand to take over, yeah. Or maybe she already is in charge. All we really know is that post-credit scene from Spider-Man Far From Home. I
Mhm.
can see them using Agents of Shield Sword. Oh, that's gonna be tough. I'm gonna keep saying Shield every time. But that TV show, it's not movie quality. It's not a box office draw. Right? It's risky
Mhm.
to have a movie called Agents of Sword. But thanks to the beauty of Disney Plus, you can put this thing out on streaming. The fans will check it out.
Absolutely, absolutely. What else we got?
Who's Aldous Hodge?
Well, apparently he's Hawkman.
Is that in the
So
Black Adam movie?
yes, this is going to be in the Black Adam movie, which is going to be taking place partly in the modern day, or at least sometime in the recent past, not the immediate present day, but the recent modern day, because they're going to be using the Justice Society of America, where Hawkman is a major member of. But also, it's going to be taking place way back in the day in Kandahar. In Kandahar, before Teth Adam, that's Black Adam's actual name, moved on to Kandahar, he was actually in one iteration of Hawkman, he was the chief of security or like the high security guard, whatever, for Teth Adam and Shayara, which is until recently in the comic books the original incarnation of Hawkman and Hawkwoman. So if he's playing Teth Adam back in the day, and this is that version of Hawkman, you know, Aldous Hodge is I want to say Aldous Huxley in the worst way. He wrote the Brave New World, but Aldous is black. And Hawkman, as we know, even people who aren't, overly familiar with Hawkman know he's a white guy with the big wings and the hawk helmet, right? Yes. Like no shirt, white as day, and you know what I'm saying? So, like, why are they getting a black guy to do this? Well, if he's just going to portray Hawkman from back in the ancient Egyptian days, that would still work because they were very mixed. I know that this is Hawkman. I believe that if I'm remembering my Hawk history correctly, specifically from the Jeff Johns run, the character of Hawkman, um, Prince Khufu, this was immediately before the time of King Ramses II, which is what Bible scholars usually consider the pharaoh, the pharaon. Pharaoh was actually King Ramses. Now, granted, we have a lot of history about King Ramses II, and there's no talk of an exodus or anything like that. So, you know, Bible history, it's not that historic. It's not that accurate in history. But we do know that Ramses II was white. He had very Caucasian features. But there were plenty of other pharaohs who didn't show Caucasian features. They actually showed black features. And even before the Romans and the Grecians used to, come in, and the Iranians and the Syrians and the Lebanese used to come in to conquer Egypt, there was also the Nubians, which are like essentially the blackest of black people, and they would just move up also, and like so it was filled with a lot of different races of people. So the idea of a black prince, Khufu, is not far fetched at all. You know, a modern day Black Hawk. That's when suddenly you're looking at the what do they call it? Race switching or something like that. What do they call it?
Yeah, that's what I would call it. Is there another term
The
for it?
race switch. I don't know. I was trying to like. I know there's a term for it. I can't remember what it's called.
That
Anyway, so we're gonna
probably
go with
rhymes, right? Like culture
it,
vulture or something.
right. It would probably be something like that. So I'm gonna go with race switching for now.
Hmm.
But anyway, yeah, it's I don't know. It's a little weird, and I am one of those guys who I recognize that comic books is a visual medium. So don't change the visual unless you've got a damn good excuse for it. If he's going to play Hawkman back in the day, do it. But he couldn't possibly play the same actor playing Hawkman in the modern day. I don't care if he's white or black or whatever. I don't care. The idea that he'd be playing Hawkman in the modern day and in the ancient Egyptian past would be ridiculous because he's a mortal who dies and is reincarnated in a completely different body each time. So he's never looked the same in any of his incarnations.
Okay.
So yeah, I just have to look at it that way. Anyway, Also, anytime I mention Hawkman, huge shout to Tim Board and Hawk World for keeping the feathered dream alive. Go on.
That changes everything for me. I'm usually on the side of he's white in the comic books. Well, I better get a white actor in the movie. Or Tinkerbell, she's white. Give me white in the movie. But this is
Mhm.
different because this could be like fixing a mistake. That's the only thing it has on it. I know Ariel when they did that casting for
Mhm.
Berry. The thing that came out that I learned was that the original Ariel actually wasn't this white girl with red hair. They for that Disney movie portrays. So it's been switched up already. That like made me
Yeah.
change my mind there too. So whatever. Like I have no strong opinions on it. I'm gonna see the movie regardless. I saw Domino, right?
Yeah. That's right.
So uh,
Yeah, which is I don't know, whatever. They decided to completely reverse everything. It didn't make sense, but anyway, no, like it's happened in both directions as far as like books to movies or books to TV shows also.
mhm.
Um Case in point, Alex Guinness, the original Obi-Wan Kenobi. This guy has played more black and brown people in movies than I was shocked to see that. I decided to look at it a day ago when I saw this. He played an Arab in what do you call and this white British guy, an Arab in Lawrence of Arabia, which is like, dude, are you why was there no Jake Gyllenhaal playing a Persian, an Iranian basically in Prince of Persia, and they didn't even speak Arabic in there. Like my wife is even more fluent in Arabic than I am, and they were literally going. It's like
Oh, they
that's not
tried.
a real. No, they didn't even try. It's like that's not even a real language. Like, what are you doing? You're not. You're just making noises that you
Uh-huh.
think sound gutturally Semitic. Like that's stupid. What are you doing? You couldn't even find people to speak Arabic. What cheapskate bastards? So yeah, it goes both ways, and I'm frustrated when it happens, no matter what. If I don't speak French, and I was just watching something recently where they were, I think it was The Boys. There was a scene where they were talking French, and I'm like, crap, I don't know what they're saying. But oh no, actually, it was Thomas Crown Affair. I was watching it with my wife again recently. She never watched it before, and I don't speak French fluently, so I'm like, I'd like to know what they were saying, but oh well. But when I do speak the language, I like having that Easter egg of everybody's going to come to me and ask what they just said, and I don't get to do that with stuff like Prince of Persia, you know. Anyway, they probably would have spoken Farsi anyway, and I don't speak Farsi.
What's the latest on the Snyder cut?
Oh, jeez. Okay, so the movies, like he had a cut. He had a whole entire cut, and all they had to do was go right into post production, right?
Mhm.
Wrong. So they're going to be spending in excess of $70 million for 1 week worth of reshoots. I thought the movie was done, Mr. Snyder. What I hate when people lie. I hate when people lie because I know reshoots need to happen every so often here, there, whatever,
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
You know
So
what I'm
this is
saying?
his reshoots that he needed to happen.
Yeah, I hear you. But when the guy says the movie is done, the movie's done. I just have to do, like I expect, even with him saying the movie was done, and I'm going like 2 years back. You know what I'm saying? When the guy's saying my movie is done, I expected it was just the shots and not the post production stuff like the CGI and stuff like that. I figured it was just the rough cut finish.
Yeah.
That would make sense. But he was even leading on to the idea that I don't even need reshoots. I could just have the stuff edited at home and then put the movie out if I was allowed to. So I'm saying it's like, but no, 70+ million for a week full of reshoots, and he was going to need Henry Cavill, Gail Gadot, um,
Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot.
um, what did I say it wrong?
Yeah, you keep calling her Gail.
What's her name?
Gal.
Gal? Oh, okay. Guys and gals. I never say gal. Anyway, okay, well, my bad. I didn't mean anything by it. Ben Affleck, and while they haven't said anything about
Actually, it's
Jason
pronounced
Momoa,
Batflick. Okay, now I'm being a dick. Sorry.
you are a dick. What do you call it? They didn't say anything about the guy who plays the Flash. I can't remember his name right now, and Jason Momoa who plays Aquaman, but they do need Ray Fisher back also. So Ezra Miller, there we go. I saw the and I was like, haha. So thank you for that. So anyway, they haven't said anything about Aquaman or Flash, but they do need all these other guys back for reshoots. You were going to say something about Henry Cavill, though.
Henry Cavill is how you say his name. It rhymes with travel. And then
Okay.
Jason
If
Momoa.
we're going to keep on fixing names, I am going to go deep into English with you. I'm going to correct everything you say grammatically.
I'm
And it's
okay
going
with
to
that.
be a really long podcast if that's
Well,
the case.
yeah. So instead of like you and me, it's you and I, or all right.
Keep going.
Just if I mispronounce somebody's name, just fix it for me too.
Sure. Go on. Let's go with the
I
flow.
I
Henry
forgot
Cavill
where
is
we
not
were.
going to be showing up, apparently, according to him, because he's got other engagements. In fact, when he was asked about the three, there's going to be like, Superman was going to turn into a trilogy, or he's going to come back for a full trilogy. So either he's supposed to come back for 2 or 3 movies, depending on which rumor you're listening to. Somebody went up during the press conference of the latest movie that he's going to be putting out soon. I forget what it's called. Looks like some woman's name, whatever it is. He just said, like, he stops the guy right away, and he's like, hold on. I think that the name of the paper was Enemy, NME, so Enemy. I think he stopped him. He's like, okay, I think that this is actually supposed to be about the movie that I'm promoting, not other stuff. So you don't have me for me. You have me for my role in the movie and the movie itself. And the guy's like, well, I guess I could kind of take that as a no comment. And he's like, I said what I said.
Uh-huh.
I respect the hell out of that, because even when I do my comic book reviews, when somebody shows up, it's like if I do a comic book review for, like, I just put out Daredevil earlier in the day, yesterday, by the time most people hear this on the podcast. Yeah, I don't like it when somebody else shows up. Hey, is there going to be a review for such and such? Sometimes the people who watch whatever, it's just the idea. It's like, there's there's different comment sections for that. You can ask me that on my earlier video during the week. You can, if I don't tell you what's being put out, and I know it's people who are excited to hear things like that, whatever. It's like, it is what it is. But I usually don't even respond to people who ask me about a non-related thing. Like, if I come on and I start doing one of my live reviews for an X-Men comic book, or all the Dawn of X books that have come out this week.
Yeah.
Nowadays it would be the Ten of Swords books that came out this week. And somebody goes and asks me about Immortal Hulk. I get it, dude, but there's a place for that. And this isn't it. This is titled this. So it's like it. I know that a lot of people don't realize it, and I'm very polite when I do it. Like Henry Cavill was polite when he did this. So I'm polite because I understand not everybody understands my mindset in this, but this is like heckling a comedian. You might not think it's heckling, but during a comedy show, your job is to laugh or to not make noise. But if you start, like groaning or boo, it can let people know whatever. But like, especially when you start shouting things out to the comedian, it throws the comedian off of his or her game. It throws them off of their game. And it's like, that's considered heckling. And they're probably going to go after you, and they're going to humiliate you big time, because it's just not cool. So likewise, I get it. The guy's trying to get, it's like, I've got Henry Cavill, but you have Henry Cavill with a caveat. It's only about this movie. That's what you were given access for. And this is a good way to get yourself booted and not have access to Henry Cavill anymore, or possibly any more movies that are put out by this studio, because they're the ones who have carte blanche in this. They can decide you're not welcome anymore. Just like my channel, just like anything else. There are rules, and you got to kind of get used to the rules. You got to get used to the flow. Otherwise, yeah, can't have those interruptions.
More HBO Max series for them to be kicked out of.
Yeah, there are more HBO Max series for them to be kicked out of. There's also a chance that there's going to be some people who work there who are going to be kicked out of stuff also. I see the segue. I'm going to go with it in a moment, because we have to talk about hashtag I stand with Ray Fisher, because there is a little bit more news about that. Witnesses saw no physical abuse from director Joss Whedon. They've actually got, like, there are people speaking out about this now, including Ciaran Hinds. You want to correct me on that name?
I don't know that name.
Thought not. Anyway, he's like a Scottish, I think Irish actor, maybe Welsh. I don't know. Anyway, He was doing some shoots in the England studio. He's the guy who played Steppenwolf in the the Justice League movie. And so when he came back to do like whatever his shoots were, or like the reshoot specifically, he didn't see, he wasn't really exposed to anybody. So he didn't see any mistreatment. He was just there and it was all CGI stuff that he was doing. So he didn't have any access to that stuff. However, there are other witnesses there who say, I didn't see any physical abuse on the part of Whedon. However, Whedon was being very difficult with the actors. The reshoots were really messy and hastily assembled. And yeah, so and a lot of people saying like pretty much everything that had to do with with Cyborg was removed from the movie, which can be frustrating also because his reshoots took a lot, because it's like we're taking all this stuff out, so now let's wrap up that stuff with these. And it's like, so they're indicating that, you know, without having the direct firsthand information, maybe he was frustrated at the reshoots, but there was definitely some hostility. And we have seen that he's willing to jack people up against the wall, like Spike from the Buffy series against the wall. You're dead. You're dead. You're dead. And it's like, yeah. So if he experienced something like that, that might be, you know, they weren't under an NDA apparently. So that might be a lot of
How do you witness I
going
didn't
on.
see something? Okay, you didn't see it. How are you a
They
witness of
did.
something unless Ray Fisher said it happened at 12:30 p.m. and blah 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 blah, and that guy says, "Yeah, I was there at 12:30 and I
No,
didn't witness it."
this is this is a step beyond character witness. It's like, yeah, I was there. It's like if I wasn't in Toronto when there was they just had an anti-mask rally today, Saturday. I know if you can believe that or not. Even here, they've got anti-mask rallies. So if I was there and I say, yeah, I didn't see any hostilities, but there's people there who say, no, there were hostilities. I can at least, you know, at least maybe then they can try and isolate things. Like you say, you didn't see any hostilities at all. No, at all. No hostilities whatsoever. What was your path that you took? Well, I took this route and at this time. They'd be like, okay, so that, you know, isolates the area where it could have happened that there were hostilities. You know, if people are saying, you know, reporting, but there were no witnesses to it, whatever, you know. There's all sorts of things that you can do with it. Every little piece of the puzzle, no matter how big or small, is still a part of the whole picture. So I didn't see any physical, you know, like jacking anybody against the wall stuff.
Yeah, if I'm Ray
But,
Fisher, all I gotta say is, yeah, he wasn't there when that happened.
huh?
He wasn't there to witness the
He,
assault.
pronouns, pal.
What's his name? The Steppenwolf guy. Steppenwolf wasn't there
Yeah, he
for the
wasn't there for
time
that.
I'm complaining about.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
proved nothing.
that's him. But I'm saying there
Unless
are
Ray
other
Fisher.
people. I'm saying there are other people, cast and crew, well,
Yeah.
crew mostly, who are saying, yeah, the reshoots were really messy. They were hastily done. Joss Whedon was abusing people. Like he, what's the exact word? I don't want to say abusing. He was very difficult with the actors. Like that was the direct quote. There
If
was no
that's all
physicality that anybody witnessed, or
right.
the people who did, you know, who spoke out about this. They say we didn't see anything, any physical stuff, but yeah, he was being really difficult with the actors. So, boom, that's there, that's out.
Yeah, that's out. I'd one day
Also,
love to hear what Ray Fisher is actually complaining about. That would be nice so I can further this discussion, maybe agree with him or disagree with him. But without knowing what's going on,
I
I
did
can't.
hear. I did hear some people, and I read some people saying, "Oh, well, Fisher's wrong because you know he's not saying anything." Well, there's only but so much that you're allowed to say. Plus, you don't want to think about this. If somebody did something to you, you know what I'm saying? You don't want to just give it away what happened right away, you know, before your actual court date, because then they can prepare for it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And more than that, you want there to be the private investigator that comes along and researches and stuff. So I know there are people who are saying, hey, he doesn't get to choose which investigator. He's not asking to choose which investigator. He is, however, saying that the WB should be more transparent with the investigations because it is supposed to be an independent investigator. So the idea that the WB does get to choose the investigator,
Yeah, I
but
agree with
Ray
all of this.
Fisher doesn't, yeah,
Mhm.
that's a little bit weird. So it has to be fair. And if the WB Pictures is doing this, as opposed to, you know, AT&T and everybody who's involved at the top, that's where the investigator should come from. because otherwise it's just an investigator for one side and not the other, and he's getting this information and finding, well, he said this and this and this is what he told me, so you can't go back on what you said because you said this. So now all of a sudden that's going to go against Ray Fisher. So that doesn't really work. Surprises are what actually hurt people. In, it's like, I don't think anybody's going to say this, even though we know that, or we heard that this happened. So as long as he doesn't say this, we're okay. That's why when all of a sudden Momoa said what he said, it was also reported this week that from WB lower officials that the higher up at WB were shocked, was the big quote, that Jason Momoa said what he said. I guess what, they didn't offer him enough positions. Frosty the Snowman wasn't enough. So they were actually shocked by what Jason Momoa said. So they're feeling that. I'm saying, I'm witnessing this. I'm seeing this. I'm somebody who's studying more and more about the legal profession, like for the sake of being a professional in the legal field. And I'm seeing WB is definitely reeling from this. WB Pictures. This one guy, think about it, this one guy, Ray Fisher, literally has them on the ropes. And they're doing whatever they possibly can because they recognize that he's probably going to win this. They're going to have to get rid of some people. And the people they're going to have to get rid of are the people who are actually in charge of these investigations. So, man, if one guy could take down some bad people at the top, that's a big deal. That's it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger in Avatar 2.
Ooh. So, okay, we'll go into Avatar 2 really quick. Avatar 2, Arnold Schwarzenegger is not going to be in the movie. He had a Zoom conversation with James Cameron. And Cameron is actually in New Zealand and he's filming everything there. And as we know, New Zealand and Germany are the two #1 countries for safety as far as the COVID situation is going. So he's saying that he's counting his blessings that he chose New Zealand, to do this filming in, because they pretty much get to, have the run of the place. Jeez. And they're not being stopped or stymied in their production like all these other shows are being, which is important since Avatar 2 has had about 5 years or so of delays. But right now, the principal shooting for Avatar 2 is finished, 100% complete. How about Avatar 3? 90% complete, according to Cameron. So aside from stuff about him being a vegan, and fortunately he's not one of those vegans who's constantly trying to push his agenda, he's also an environmentalist. Arnold Schwarzenegger, who did the original Terminator movie with James Cameron, saying that even back then in 1984, he knew that, he used to talk about, he didn't like the way the environment was going. He saw, melting in the polar regions and stuff like that. So it was really cool being able to witness these two old friends, talking to each other. And yeah, they are actually old friends. So that was actually really cool. Do you have anything on that, on Avatar?
I wonder what he had to deal with the California wildfires when he was in charge. Was he like supportive of the cause, or was he denying? Because he's a Republican, right?
That's true. Yeah, he did. He ran and served as a Republican. He was a bit smarter of a Republican, though. He had to deal with
Smart
budgets and
Republican.
whatnot.
All right.
Well, nowadays Republicans are getting high into the conspiratorial theories. If you think about it, it was the Democrats before that, because under Bush, that's when 9/11 happened. So the truthers would actually
You
be
mean the people
against
who
the
question how a third
Republicans.
building could fall in New York without getting hit by a plane? Those people?
Yes, that's exactly those kinds of people that you are talking about. I'm talking about also. So anyway, those would mostly be, liberals who would talk about. So the conspiracy theory, can shift in multiple directions and whatnot. Anyway, so yeah, how did he handle? They weren't as bad because it's not as dry as it was before, and they were always able to. There was no defunding in that regards. Anyway, so back to the WB as far as the HBOMAX pictures are concerned. Zatanna and Constantine are supposed to go to HBO Max. J.J. Abrams is supposed to have something to do with that. We're not entirely sure what his role is going to be because he's been kind of moved from some stuff. Maybe one of the reasons why he's there is because the failures at Disney Plus or at Disney with the Star Wars movies. But either way, he's going to have something to do with this TV show, and we don't know if it's going to be one TV show with Zatanna and Constantine in it, or 2 TV shows with, Zatanna and the other with Constantine. But there's also going to be another one that is actually happening. It's actually in the process of happening right now, the build up to it. All of the shooting and everything is going to happen after the Suicide Squad movie is put out. But James Gunn has solicited John Cena to play Peacemaker
Nice.
in an 8-episode HBO Max series. So I don't know if that's going to be exploring his history, his pre-appearances before the Suicide Squad movie, because Suicide Squad, you expect everybody to die if it's done right? Or at least almost everybody to die. So it might be a prequel about him. But if he lives, if he somehow survives, you never know. So this could actually be really fun. 8 episodes, not too shabby.
He gets along with those wrestlers, James Gunn.
He does. He did say, however, that he's not from he used to watch wrestling when he was a kid. He doesn't watch it anymore. So somebody like John Cena and Dave Bautista, he knows them from acting, not from being wrestlers.
Not from WrestleMania 26.
Correct. That was wow. That was a good call.
Yeah, that was in Arizona. Not Phoenix, though. Scottsdale, I think. In that university.
Wow, that's an even better call.
Yeah.
Nice.
They weren't the main event. They were the second last match next to
Okay, you're starting to piss me off right now.
With the COVID thing, that's the excuse that they use. This is the next topic. It's the Cassian Andor director. The guy who was going to do the first 3. His name is Tony Gilroy. He was going to direct those 3 episodes. He's not going to direct them anymore. And he's saying, it's best for my family if I just stay home. I'll still stay on as the showrunner, which is just the latest in the Kathleen Kennedy firings and replacements, except they're going to use this pandemic as a reason not to have this guy continue as a director. Same old, same old. It's like Scott Derrickson, who was supposed to direct Doctor Strange. He is going to stay on as an executive producer, and he wishes the best for Sam Raimi in his future endeavors.
Well, actually, he's just been future endeavored, apparently. Yeah, that's just too funny,
Sam Raimi's
man.
present endeavors.
Yeah, exactly. Which is his former endeavors. It's like, sorry, bro, you're out. Raimi's in. And I think everybody's going to agree with that decision for the most part. No knock on Derrickson, but I mean, for the love of God, Sam Raimi doing a horror movie in the MCU? Hello? Like that sounds hot. That sounds super hot. So yeah, I'm down for it.
I'm not interested in Cassian Andor, though. Like, who was that guy? He was a character in Rogue One, if anyone's wondering.
Yeah.
Cassian Andor. I'm not saying Cassie and Andor, but he was the guy who was romantically linked to Jyn Erso.
Yep. Jyn Erso. Yep.
He's just a guy. I don't care what happens before he died, right?
I know.
I don't know. We'll see. Yeah.
I know, right? Like, how epic could it be? He wasn't really that important to the movie.
Couldn't use the Force.
Which was fun. That was kind of what the movie was based on, but yeah, like I don't know. I'm just not interested. I'd be more interested in a K2SO story. Saying that robot. That would be cool. Anyway, what else we got?
Tell me about Lady Stoneheart.
Okay, this is kind of like a no news situation. I just wanted to bring it up because the guys who did Game of Thrones, I never read the books. All right. I started reading the first book. It was really detailed. I had too many things going on. I've got even more things going on now, so I'm not going to try and catch up. But in the books, there was this character, Lady Stoneheart, which is essentially, what the heck, Arya Stark's mom, Jon Snow's, adopted mom. The Lady Jessica, right? That was her? No, the Lady Jessica, was it her? Yeah, whatever. I don't know. Anyway, this character, she, there was the part where in the Red Wedding, she died. She was killed. They cut her throat and she fell and she died. The Red Wedding.
Is that why it's called the Red Wedding? Huh.
Yeah, that's what. Well, because everybody was murdered in that. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you're being a smartass. I like it. I'm down. But in the books, she came back. She was actually resurrected. Like Jon Snow and several others were resurrected. She was resurrected too. And she was called Lady Stoneheart because the way that she was murdered, knowing that her, son who was supposed to be the heir was murdered also, and her family is probably all dead also, she went on this campaign to murder all the people who were against House Stark. And since her throat was cut out, she wasn't able to talk. She came back as this zombie type character and she wasn't able to speak at all. So she was, Stoneheart. And it was apparently a really epic moment in the comics. But they gave basically baloney excuses like, oh, we didn't want to spoil anything that was in the book, but you decided who was going to be on the Iron Throne at the end. That's why they say they didn't pursue it. They didn't want to spoil anything for the books, which is you realize how ridiculous that is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
This
it's
is a
also by
character,
two guys who were taken off of Star Wars. What's their names? DB Wise and David Benioff. Them dudes.
Benioff, yeah. Um, yeah, I hear you. Nah, man, these guys, the way they ended that, nobody's happy with it for the most part. Even me, I'm like probably one of the least offended people by the way that happened, the way that
Offended.
ended. But like, I don't want to see these guys. I don't want to hear from these guys anymore. It's like you failed. That was like such an easy softball to end that, and they just failed. Like, no, I don't want to hear your nonsense for why that didn't happen. I just no. Lady Stoneheart could have been cool. I don't know. I don't know why they didn't go with it.
A couple of comic book newses. For one, this is a non-news. There's a classified X-Men title that I learned about last week and I didn't bring up until now that Marvel has coming out. And seeing that is so cool. Knowing that 3 months from now in December, a comic book will come out. This comic book, it's going to be so current that we can't even know what's happening. This is a red highlighted issue of a book because the events in Ten of Swords is going to directly affect this comic book, where even the title of the comic book, even the artwork, it's not just the artwork, it's the title that we can't even know about. I'm guessing it's Agents of Sword. I've seen that rumor that Al Ewing is going to be doing an Agents of Sword series. And that sounds really cool. And it sounds like a definite pickup.
Yeah. I didn't even hear about this. You're the one who brought this to my attention in the first place. So I don't know that I have too much to say about it. But if it's an unclassified X title, we did see the way
Moira?
that Ewing, well, I don't know. It's a possibility. We did see the way that Empire ended, the Avengers one specifically. And that seemed to relate a lot to the Ten of Swords thing. So if they are going to do that, that could be pretty wicked. I don't know. I'm not going to complain.
That sounds like two events synchronizing, which is a rarity in Marvel.
Right? So.
But Hickman did a good job with including Empire in his X-Men tie-in.
He did. Yeah. I've never seen him as having any demonstrable ability to play well with others. He's always just kind of done his own thing, and everybody, when he did
Not
Avengers
anymore.
World and all that stuff. Yeah, exactly. He's like, this is my story. I don't care about the rest of the world, and he did a great job and we liked it. Unlike what Bendis would do often, would be like, oh my God, you didn't take any of this stuff into consideration. Hickman did it in a way where it's like, I'm not stepping on your toes. I don't care if you step on my toes. This is basically my own thing, But now, like, he's playing with Teenie Howard, which sounded a lot worse than I expected it to. He's playing well with, Slott and Ewing. That's pretty cool. I'm not going to complain.
Yeah, maybe it's because he has the clout now after Secret Wars.
Yeah.
What about these variant covers? Tell me about them.
Well, so in October, Marvel's going to be putting out variant covers. They're going to be horror themed. Yeah, that's really it. So like,
are they nullified?
Werewolf by Night. No. They're going to be, Marvel has their old stuff. So like Spider-Woman by Night as opposed to Werewolf by Night. Yeah, they're going to be doing stuff like that. So it's just going to be variant covers that are horror themed, bringing up a lot of the horror characters from back in the day. I don't know. You a fan of horror comics?
Immortal Hulk is cool, but I'm not a fan.
That's like as close as you're going to get to it, right? Now, I used to love the Tomb of Dracula and stuff like that. But for the most part, I don't know. Horror. Who does horror anymore? Whoa.
I don't know. Like you said, who does horror, and the lights just turned out in your studio. Ooh.
That's actually real. That's actually really weird. I wonder if, I had to have a Bray Wyatt moment. Run. So
I
anyway,
actually thought it was an accident the first time it happened, and then by the second one, something was up.
my arms were getting tired from being out here and not showing it on the camera for anybody who's going to watch the video later. Oh man. So
So I bet Eternals will have 37 variant covers.
yeah, 37 freaking variant covers, 80 covers or 38 covers in all. That's just redonkulous.
Yeah. So Batman comics.
Well, there is a Batman comic that's out that people are madly in love with right now from it's called Batman: The Three Jokers. And it's probably a lot of the reason why I've got the two Jokers and a cup on here.
Written on your screen, yeah.
Written on my screen. That's right. Damn it. You're the other Joker. So, yeah, Batman: Three Jokers. Part 2 is coming out, and they put out a preview for that yesterday, which would be 2 days ago for you guys on the podcast. Joker's going to have a wife and a daughter.
Why not?
That will be a first appearance for all the speculators out there and the flippers as well. The flipping isn't going to work as well, I don't think, because there's going to be plenty of these books hitting the shelves. The success of issue 1 says that issue 2, there's going to be plenty of orders in the comic book stores. Nobody's ordering just 3. You know what I'm saying? So the speculators, however, if you want to get your hands on a nice, clean, pristine copy, have this sent out to CGC for a grading, press it just in case. It shouldn't need to press it, but whatever. This could be a good spec book. First appearance of a wife and daughter for one of the 3 Jokers. That's kind of a big deal.
And how do we know that it's a first appearance before the book even comes out?
Has there ever been a wife of the Joker or a child of the Joker before?
I'm asking if James Tynion put that in his newsletter.
No, and James Tynion not writing that. There's Jeff Johns, who doesn't talk with anybody anymore. He's nice and quiet. No worries, especially the with the Ray Fisher stuff going on.
So then how do we know that it's happening, that it'll be a first appearance? Is there something in the first issue that says there'll be a reveal in the second issue?
No, the preview for issue 2 was put out. So, and the solicit. So he's got a wife and a daughter. And one of the Jokers has a wife and a daughter in this. So yeah, speculators, hey, giving you a heads up. You know what I'm saying? Buy a second issue maybe. Plus, when you get the issues, you always wind up getting a cool card. So there's going to be another card that they give for free with the purchase of a book, which Jason Fabek actually did it, and those are beautiful cards. So I can't wait to get the second and the third card. They're going to be given free with each issue that you buy of issue 1, 2, and 3, respectively.
Wicked.
I know. You know what I did?
Thanks for joining, everybody.
You know what I did? I'm gonna let everybody. I'm gonna end this on a joke. So I watched about the first 10 minutes of an hour and 10-minute long YouTube thing by Phoenix Marie. So Phoenix Marie is a porn star, and I didn't even know this. And she was talking to some other woman who was a porn star, or at least her family ran a porn industry. And I watched the first 10 minutes of this because I saw Phoenix Marie, and somehow in my mind, it looked like Beth Phoenix. Like the character actually looked a little tiny bit like Beth Phoenix too. So I'm just like, oh, okay, so this is going to be about Beth. Let's see what she's going to talk about. And she's talking about being in the porn industry. Like, I didn't know that she was in the porn industry. And she's talking and going on. I was like, wait a second. I did a search really quick for Phoenix Marie. I'm like, she doesn't say she's married to Edge. Wait a second. Let me look up Edge, Adam Copeland. Boom, married to Beth Phoenix. Oh, crap. So that was embarrassing. I wasted 10 minutes of my life listening to porn stars talk. That's like reading Playboy for the magazines. Like, who does that? Or for the articles, who does that? I figured we'd end on a fairly funny note. Making fun of myself. Self-deprecating humor is the best kind of humor. So that's the podcast. I'm calling it. I'm calling an audible. We're done. So I'll talk to all you guys later. This is coming on behalf of Chillmonger, who you should definitely not subscribe to. All right? Don't not subscribe to Chillmonger. What are you at right now?
603.
Do not become the 604th and so on. All right? Don't do it. Don't not do it. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. On behalf of Chillmonger and Professor Bill, Comic Book University,
Class
class
dismissed.
dismissed.